Hey everyone, how's it going? Just want to do a video kind of talking about what's been going on with like Seattle and stuff like that, how they're kind of taking over some city blocks. As far as from a business standpoint goes, yeah, if you don't have any enforcement in the rules, um, you don't have any rules at all. So it's kind of like having a business plan that you kind of wrote up, and then you kind of tuck it in the drawer, and you never enforce the rules. So it's kind of like a traffic signal where you say, "Hey, the red light, green light," but no one enforces it. Well, we're gonna be running red lights all day long. So with Seattle, I kind of feel like, yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's just gonna be people making up their own rules, or someone else is gonna, enforce something in order to, you know, have some kind of a direction. So, anyways, with all this, I think there's some couple more police that was what's it called, fired for I guess aggressively shooting back. I think there was one that you know the guy resisted and ran off with the cop's taser, and then went back and ran away and tried to shoot the the cop back with the taser, and ended up getting killed with a live weapon from the cop getting shot three times. So I want to kind of go over this video here on the reaction time. Now, it's like the cops is putting his life at risk all day long, and it's a life or death decision. Dealing with people who won't comply, making his job more complicated than it should be. With non-compliance, it's an indication that there's a threat. Okay. Um, and I'll show you this demonstration with that. And now you pretend you're the cop. You kind of use your finger here. It goes, and then you say bang, whether or not you should bang or not. As far as, hey, you know, I'm gonna kind of simulate as the cop, like, hey, you need to comply. Don't reach your hand into something, and you can say bang or no bang, and see if you can shoot him before you get shot. And that's a life or death situation between you coming home to your family, to your wife and kids that are dependent on providing for you. Okay, and it's like, yeah, like he's risking his life every day helping the community, and we have some individuals who won't comply, making their lives harder, and in a sense, having the cop be a little more heavy-handed um, in that. Um, and then, of course, now it's gonna be in this YouTube video, it'll be bald guys' lives matter now. So let's go ahead and take a look. So let's go ahead and let's kind of watch this, and let's go ahead and pretend that we're gonna be the cop, okay? So why do cops shoot unarmed citizens? So let's go ahead and watch this. It's quite simple. Officers are unwilling to gamble with their own lives by placing safety into the hands of uncooperative, erratic subjects. Okay, so let's go ahead. All right, don't reach into the car. Reach into the car. Don't reach into the car. You have your gun drawn, and you have to make sure that you see the gun in the hand before you say bang. Are you able to react fast enough? Or is he armed or unarmed?
From the ray gun. .92.
So he's gonna do a couple of tests right now to see the reaction time.
.80.
Don't reach into the car. But oh, too late. I couldn't see. Don't reach into the car. Bang. No, look for the gun. Don't look for the gun. Bang. Look for the gun. Look for the gun. Bang. I think he probably pulled 0.28 seconds. Now, what if that was a cell phone? Then it would be this Sunglass live guy wears the sunglass lives matter. Okay, now wait till you actually see the gun. Okay, so let's race. Alright, so make sure with your imaginary gun, pull the trigger when you see the pistol. Be honest with yourself. Let's do it. Alright, here we go. Hey, don't reach to the gun. Don't reach to the car. Bang! I would have shot right there, right? Because he's non-compliant. Bang! He's pulling something out, and by the time I see the gun, it's too late. Bang! Oh shoot!
What, you shoot me?
I just
You
shot him.
racist?
I'm a racist now. He's a bald guy. His lives matter. How fast can you identify the object in their hands? Let's try again. Ready? Don't reach the car. Oh man, that was close.
Wallet.
Wallet. Don't reach into the car. Bang. Oh shoot, I killed him. Don't reach into the car. Bang. I would have shot right there. Ah, he still had self. Oh, dang. I didn't see the second gun, so I'd be more trigger happy than anything. Is to make the decision before they actually produce a weapon. If he reaches the car, I am shooting. I would probably do the same. Waiting. Many officers choose to wait. Their choice may well cost their life. It's an individual decision. But now it's like, I don't know. It's like I don't even want to be a cop anymore. It's like just let him go. With all this stuff going on, it's like you want to run, go. It's, why make my life easy, hard with this pay here? Officer gets excused. Why? So I'll link this below. Maybe you could go over the exercise again, see if you can kind of perceive that danger. Was it real danger? No danger? You don't know. Gun is out and at the ready. Is it reasonable to require the officer wait until they actually identify the object for deciding to shoot? Is it reasonable to demand the officer wait until that uncooperative radical individual actually comes out with a weapon before making the decision to shoot? No, you can't react fast enough. If an erratic individual is defying your commands, walking towards you, a vehicle, you see they should suddenly become cooperative. Is it reasonable to assume they mean no harm? No, they're a threat. Bang. If knowing the risk of waiting the officer shoots, would they be in the right if there was a gun? If the decision to shoot is made before seeing a gun, is justification of the shoot based solely on the presence of the lack of the suspect having a gun? The perception of danger is exactly the same in both situations until it is too late to react. So in some states, it's like, hey, do you sense fear? Do you sense that they're gonna do something? So you gotta make sure that states, I think in California, as long as you have the sense of fear that you're gonna get hurt, you're justified to pull and fire if you're a CCW carrier. All right, so I'm gonna pause that. So this was in a CCW class I took, and I was just like, yeah, like you can't, like you would die. Yeah, like you can't react fast enough, looking for the gun in the hand, and then trying to fire back. So if they're non-compliant and they're reaching to something, and you feel scared, you have to fire first in order to survive, and that's the matter of you being with your family or not, you know. So yeah, definitely have lawyer insurance too if you carry CCW or LTC in certain states. And yeah, and then Yeah, so hopefully you understand what cops are dealing with and what they're going through, and they deal with this every day, and comply, dude. Just why don't they, so that's the thing. It's just like, hey, now we have to be a little heavy-handed. Now there's a movement. Now people are trying to you know defund the police and all this other stuff, right? So it's I think it kind of starts with that, and then a divided city to a divided county to a divided state and to eventually a breakdown. Okay, so I don't know where it's headed. We can only foresee. Hopefully it gets resolved earlier than it festering uh, more and more, and kind of go from there. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, and I'm sure that there's probably certain experiences that certain people feel, and I don't know, like maybe they're. We'll leave it as that. I know that certain people will probably be unjustified as far as like, hey, you know what, they're a little too rough on me because of my color, uh, and this and that, and you know, you're talking back, you're not compliant, uh, you're not letting you know that you are compliant. And I don't know, the last one's like, dude, like you you were drinking, you got called on, you failed the sobriety test and you need to be taken in. Yeah, but if you're trying to run and then at the turn trying to turn back with the police officer's taser, he doesn't know if that's a taser or you had a concealed carry on your ankle, whatever it is, or or that would have me shot him in the eyes and killed him. Who knows? But he has to react and fire back. Okay, or it could have been a cell phone still, and he would have justified the fact that you were a threat. Um, so that's just that's the difference between that officer going home or not. But of course, the city thought it was different otherwise. It's changing, is kind of tying the police officers' hands, and I believe eventually a lot of police officers' lives would be at risk now, shifting so that people who are non-compliant can get away. Um, Took a ride. They said that certain cities they don't allow for chases and or pursuits. So if you knew that, because it was just too expensive, right? So in this situation, if this thing is like, hey, all this stuff, it's like, hey, you know what? If he's gonna run, he's gonna fight. You know what? I'll just let him go. It's not worth the time and money or the rest of my life. And that's kind of it. Like basically, if you're gonna do a pursuit or not comply when you're pulled over, that city just says, hey, just let him go. And that just seems like that's what it is. And if you knew that law, as soon as you get pulled over, just step on the gas and just go away. The cops are just gonna let you go. So it seems this case, as soon as you resist arrest, it's just like, hey, you know what? Go for it. It's not my time, not worth my time, money. I don't get paid enough to do this, and all this other stuff at the risk of getting fired. Go ahead, do your thing, get away. I'm gonna move on to another thing. Let's go for the low hanging fruit and go from there, I guess. So, all right. Anyways, hopefully that's kind of helped you guys clarify a few things. Things are changing the dynamics, how things go. Of course, if they say life is more important, maybe a better way of handling it is just to, hey, you know what? It's not worth the officer's time to pursue, and it's just like, hey, if he decides to run, I'm not gonna put any extra effort in it. Whatever, um, just let him go, right? And maybe he'll do the offense again. Maybe it might hurt someone else in a DUI or drunk driver accident. Who knows what? But that seems like where it's heading. So I'm gonna take a neutral stand. I'm just kind of pointing you know the what I observe and I understand. I'm trying to take both sides of the story here. And of course, a little DUI shouldn't justify someone getting killed. I get that, yes. And he has 3 or 4 kids, and you kind of see both sides of the story. Or the cop doesn't want to risk his life. He wants to go home too, and he can't risk that. Seeing whether if it's an actual firearm or a taser or a cell phone. He's trained to just, and it's dark too. It's hard to see at the time. So it's just more like, hey, I need to fire before I see anything because these are an uncompliant person, and it's also a threat because of the uncompliance. All right, anyways, hopefully that's kind of clarified a few things. Comment if you like. Just my opinion versus your opinion, and go from there. But anyways, talk to you then.